Hello, 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 hello. First, the most important apologies for the shirt, okay? As you know, professors, they don't pay us very much, so I have a part-time job at EasyJet, and I have to rush off from here. Great, so we have some time together to talk about the future of humans and, is it machines? Am I in the right place? Yeah. Are you okay to be interactive a bit? Yeah. Okay. A shock on his face, okay? Yes, so we're going to be interactive. And you're probably wondering why me? It's a Gartner event, they've brought in an external speaker, so I'll tell you just a little bit about what makes me a little bit different from a proper academic, which is I actually have always tried to do what I'm teaching. So I've lost lots of money on projects where I've said, well, the important thing we should do is we should have, do you remember those big Philips disk things? Yeah, you don't remember them, you're young. We used to think future of education was these big CDs, like giant CDs. Yeah, I lost money on that, and many other things. So the advantage is I actually have some understanding of what works and what doesn't work. But the other thing also, which is really crucial, is I've been trying to live a digital life. I've been trying to live in the future. So about 8 years ago, I started an education opportunity, which was teaching people using VR. And I've been living in that type of world. So I've got some insights into some of the challenges of a future of work personally. So if I mention things, it's not a sales pitch, it's just I'm telling you about my daily life. Is that okay? It's really important. The other thing I want to also add is, which is really, really crucial, is when we talk about the future of work, how far in the future do you want me to go? I mean, do you want next week, or do you want me to do, give me a clue. 5 years, okay. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people say things like, give us a view 50 years from now. And then I can say anything I like because they'll be dead, okay? So I like that one, but you didn't give me that opportunity. Great. So the session, I think we titled it, where am I here? We titled it something weird like humans, and I can never remember the title. Am I in the right place here? Yes, I am. I have a secret which I want to share with you. This session is supposed to be about how we humans will interact and shape the future of work. But I'm going to sneak in 2 other bits, which Gartner don't know about, so don't tell them. The first bit I'm going to sneak in, which is really important, is I actually need a bit of your help, okay? I need actually a lot of your help. And the reason I need a lot of your help is because I think the way in which we're shaping the future, not just of work, but of human beings, and of the way we're using machines, could be a little bit dangerous, okay? So I'm going to need your help with that. The other thing I'm going to sneak in is I'm going to sneak in a little secret, which I have, which I'll share with you, which is how to make it all work easily and seamlessly. So that's my plan. Does that work? I have 3 paradoxes which bother me. One of the early statistics up there was talking about 3.7 trillion spent in 2018 on technology. Have you actually looked at any of the global productivity figures for the past 10 years? Can somebody tell me what they look like? Just use your fingers to draw what's happened to global productivity over the past 10 years. Isn't that so suspicious? All this money goes into the tech, we talk about the new stuff, and yet somehow. So that's one. The second is, I took some time to look at employee engagement scores for various of my clients. I further said, how have your employee engagement scores gone over the past 10 years? Do you know what those ones look like as well? So, is it just me, or is there something weird going on here? Okay? So what I want to do is I want to explore what everybody knows, because we obviously are all doing it because we know that's the right answer. Then I'm going to tease you about why what everyone knows is probably wrong. And then I'm going to move on to try and figure out what we should do so we get ahead and leave the others behind thinking they're doing the right thing. Deal? Cool. So to help me and to help me focus, I want you to imagine the next 45 minutes is fantastic. I don't know, you learn how to engage your talent, how to focus on which technologies to approach, how to use, I don't know what it is. What is it which if you learned in the next 45 minutes or so would make your life fantastic? I mean, it would really help you. What's your biggest hope for the next 45 minutes? That's one question. The second question I have is, what's your greatest fear? I want you to imagine that the next 45 minutes is really a bit of a disaster. Everything has gone wrong. What went wrong? Did I just go blah, 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 AI, blah, 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 machine learning? I mean, I don't know, okay? So the way you're going to do this is I'm going to ask you to do this called interacting with each other. Have you come across this? So round one, you shake hands with the people inside of you and say, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so. Don't tell them your job title and stuff. It's not interesting. Huh? Just connect with them as human beings. And check the ones behind you, because sometimes there's some nice-looking people behind you. So say hello to them as well, okay? Once you've done that in a group of 3, have a quick conversation. You only have about 20 seconds. What I want him to talk about is this. No, I want him to talk about this. Blah, 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 blah. In a minute, we'll regroup. I'll capture the top 3, and we'll go. Start. Meet people. Collect your hopes. Collect your fears. Let's go. It's okay. It's okay. That's okay. 10 seconds left. Five seconds left. Time up. Okay. So, did you meet anyone interesting? Are they okay? Were they good looking behind? I told you the people behind you are always much more good looking than the ones either side of you. It's always the same, okay? So, can I put my greatest hopes and fears up here? So, I'm hoping that you leave with some concrete ideas, some concrete takeaways, things you can do. And then I have fears. My fears are really simple. One is that you don't take any notes because I'm making jokes. So you think, and these days as well, everyone knows if you go to a meeting and you take notes, everyone thinks you're taking the actions. So no one takes notes, but I'm a professor, so please make notes. Write stuff down, okay? Take photographs of slides. Second thing which I'm really worried you might do is this one here, which is that you just hear the same old stuff which you've had before. And the third one is I have a great fear of zombies. You laugh, but they're out there. This morning I came in and I thought I would meet people as I was wandering around having coffee. Okay? Now, old-time zombies, they were really easy. They sort of walk like that. Excuse me. They're really easy to deal with. Those are old-time zombies. Their brains have been taken out, buried somewhere, and they just move their bodies and limbs randomly. Okay? Modern zombies. Their brains have also been taken out and moved somewhere else, but they don't walk like this. They walk like that. So, yeah, okay, so let's be serious. What don't you want me to spend any time on? Are there any fears, anything you don't want me to waste time on? Just shout. I'm only taking the first 3. So if you don't shout... Brexit? Okay, so no Brexit jokes. Okay, no Brexit. I've got one semi-Brexit joke, but it's a data analytics one. Anything else you don't want me to do? No Brexit? Shoes! Okay, so nothing about shoes. Okay, great. That's enough. 2 of those. Anything specifically you say, if you could cover this, brilliant. Just give me one of those. Anything? User experience. When you say user experience, what do you mean? Do you mean employees? Do you mean customers? Do you mean both? Okay, great. And another one maybe? Treating employees as customers. You're going to charge them money. That's cool. I like that. Okay, great. So treating employees as customers. Okay, I can do that one as well. And one final one, please. How to maintain human values. Maintain human, what's that? Human values. What's that? The value of the human being.
As opposed to the machine.
Oh, but come on, we're only in technology. Who cares about the people? Is it? mean, the people, they're not so exciting. You have something shiny, you know, like a new device, tool, a little sort of drone. There's the one I saw recently. Apparently, the kids in Japan, one of the things they're doing is they're sort of being naughty and they're shipping drugs amongst the different neighborhoods by using drones. So the police came up with these drone catching things which would shoot a net from their drones. You with me? And so the kids have come up with a drone catcher. Are you with me? And the quote from the police chief was, "We haven't had as much fun in years." Okay. So employees as customers, okay? So these are the things we want us to focus on. Great, okay. Okay, let's go then. Let's go with the journey. I'll try and avoid Brexit and shoes as much as I can, and I'll try to focus. The first thing I want to try and pick up is this human-machine thing. The classic one is this one here. I hate to put this up, because anyone here who's playing buzzword bingo is immediately going to get all their points up. I don't know whether you saw that one, but that was Jack Ma versus Elon Musk. And the question is very simple. Elon Musk says, "Machines are going to kill us all, destroy us, and enslave us." Not that voice, okay? Jack Ma says, "No, humans created computers. These will free us up for creativity and better employment at work and laughter." And two of the smartest brains on the planet, two of the richest men on the planet, assuming they weren't just talking from business point of view, can't agree. What's wrong? Surely it should be obvious. One or the other of them is right, and the other one's wrong. But what's going on? They're both wrong. So the machines will enslave us whilst ushering in an era of... Yeah, because the slaves will be so happy, they won't know they're enslaved. And we'll come to this because I'm not allowed to talk about Brexit or data manipulation or big data when we talk about ethics about using apps later on. Because we're now so good at understanding how to move people emotionally and psychologically and nudge them, and the AI allows us to be turbocharged, that it's likely that shortly you'll be making decisions you think you've made, but you have never made. That's how close we are, okay? So not to frighten you till we get to the later part. Anyway, but coming back to this bit here, I think this is a real challenge for us, because it means that we're now in the opinion space. Why are we in the opinion space? Well, the way I see it is very simple. What we've done systematically over the past 30, 40 years is just make the world more complex. Firstly, we've put more people on the planet, human beings. So if we make this now, and we make this the past, and I put marks on this, now is higher than past in terms of the number of people. Am I right? And if we look at things like connections in terms of technology, guess what? Networks versus now. If we look at complexity, the amount of information which we collect, the size of big data, the number of organizations actively seeking change. If we look at the complexity and movement of markets and capital, these repeat over and over again, despite our flat productivity and our flat engagement. How these 2 points join together, these crosses? Use your fingers just to show me. Is it like the world sped up and slowed down, or what do you think? It grows exponentially. Why? Because one change leads to another. We have network effects. There are more people on the planet. It's not interesting. I'll explain what's interesting. The world is happily getting faster, more complex. How are we changing and learning? We've already seen the curve for the productivity. We've seen the curve for the employee engagement. How about the curve for learning how to work differently, learning in our organizations, building strategies? Is it the same curve? Answer is probably yes. Do you understand what that means? It means sometime quite recently, for you and for everyone else, we've moved from a world where we can learn faster than the world is changing. How does that feel if you can learn faster than the world is changing? Cool. You can use your experience. You can grow your market. You know what your customers want. Fabulous. We've moved to a world which can change faster than we can learn. How does that feel? Do you understand? Now, this world where it changes faster than we can learn, it has a very specific effect on human beings. I did some training as a hypnotist. That's another thing. So I have a weird talent stack. You know, like I've got engineering degree, I've got a business degree, I've got an economics degree. I'm a weird guy, but I also did hypnosis stuff. And One of the things I learned when I was studying that is, just imagine if you will for a second, that you're not at this wonderful Gartner summit, but close your eyes and just imagine that all of a sudden you've been dropped in the middle of a really scary, frightening forest. I've got a picture somewhere of a frightening forest I think I can show you. My timing is rubbish. That's why I'm not doing hypnosis for a living. Frightening forest, there you go. Ta-da! Frightening forest. Okay, so you've just been dropped in this frightening forest. Can you just tell me how you feel? Good. You feel good when you hear the noise. Crunch, 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 crunch. He feels good knowing that there are things going to eat him. Some people out there, okay? Normally, evolution doesn't allow people who feel good in that sort of situation to survive. However, it is possible. Now, what happens in that situation when you're really uncomfortable, scared, and nervous is you kick into looking for three things only. That's all you care about. First one, is it dangerous? Is it an obstacle? That's what you're thinking about. That's when your heart is beating like that. That's the first question. Second question you ask yourself is it a tool? Can I use it to save myself? And the third is, can I ignore it? Is it irrelevant? Now, when you're in that mode and things are changing very fast, you look for any clue as to whether something's dangerous or a tool. And if somebody does something and they're not quite dead, guess what you do? You copy them. Smart. Okay. Do you understand what this means? As we've accelerated the world, we've basically created an environment where most organizations spend most of their time building their own unique strategies which look exactly the same as everybody else's strategy. Have you noticed in other organizations? Okay. Why is that a problem? Well, the challenge is this. If we take just the digital side, I'm going to start on the digital side and just sort of explore that. If we just take the digital side and play around with that for a bit, I love these different technologies. I mean, everyone will talk about their future strategy, and what they do is they always make the technology the hero of the situation. Have you noticed that? They always make the technology, it's about this. They never say, and if they talk about people sort of as a second thought. They don't put the people first and say, we want our employees to be really happy and engaged. What technologies could we find for them? It works the other way around, okay? Now, why? Because some of us are selling and we're smart and we know it's a time of change. And if you tell somebody, this is a tool, and they're really scared in that forest, they'll go, it's a tool, I'll have it, how much? You know, so we know that, so they buy. So you see things like, I'm just going to laugh at some of the funny things here. This is just pictures of augmented reality. This is supposed to be an app you have on your phone, so when you go around the supermarket, it tells you where things are. Now, I have to tell you, if you don't understand how a supermarket works, your mother should not have let you out. You know, this is another equivalent one which is supposed to rank your dates as you're going along. Drones. Funniest one I ever saw, I laughed for ages when I saw that, was this one here, which was the first aid drone. So all the kit arrives and there's no doctor and you die. And then it just goes on. I mean, you know, the technology is wonderful, but the ways people are imagining using it are really weird. I love this one here with all the different screens. My life, okay, I don't carry devices. I have a device at home. I have 3 or 4 devices in my office, which is about 1 mile from home. I have an iPad in my car. They are all aligned. I don't understand why I need to be a beast of burden carrying technology, which is now so cheap we can multiply it and not notice it in our bank balances. And yet I watch people, and they do this amazing thing. When they're working on a really difficult corporate issue, they look on a tiny little screen with their thumbs. Then they go home, and they're relaxed, and there's no value to what they're doing. And they have a massive screen where they can see everything. Someone explain that to me. Do you understand? We've simply just copied each other. There was no thought in that process. Yeah? So you get that sort of thing, and it just goes on. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the different technologies, but most of the technologies around us, the ways in which people have envisioned them are interesting, but we ask ourselves, do you have this experience? You recognize it? Okay. Implications on that are quite massive. Because for a start, it basically means that a lot of the investment we're putting in isn't necessarily getting us much further forward. There's a big chance that what we're doing isn't actually helping us move forward. It's just copying someone else. And some of them are dead ends. My advice would be, look in your organization for what I call digital dead ends. Apps, technologies, ways of working. and you look at it and go, 5 years from now, will this give us a competitive advantage? If the answer is no, do it, but do it as cheaply as possible. Yes? Take the cash you save, and let's go and change the world in a different way. This diagram is also important because it tells us another thing. When you're on this side of the curve, when you can learn fast and the world is changing, if you're intelligent, you put the most senior and most experienced person in charge, and basically what happens is they hire people to come and work for them. Oh, we've got a lovely opportunity. Come and work for us. Come and work for us. Are you with me? And remember that stat about 44% of people didn't realize the job they were going to do was the one they end up doing. So they all come in. Yes, I want to come and work for you. So you get about 10 people working for you, and it's okay. Then you get 100. Now you have a problem. So what you do is you take the best of the 100, and you basically put them as your next level. Have you come across this? Okay. And they then tell the others what to do. So slowly you build this wonderful thing called a hierarchy. Have you come across this before? And the person at the top tells the people what to do. They work out the strategy. Young people join where? They join at the bottom. You tell them a specific lie. It is one day you two will be at the top. Why will they never be at the top? Because you're there and you're not going anywhere. Why don't they realize you'll never get there? They'll never get to the top? Because next year, more younger people come below them. The organization grows downwards. They suddenly have people below them. They think they've gone up. It's like when you're on a train and the other train moves. You with me? So this world works perfectly. Bad news? We're not in that world anymore. The world we're in now is here. It's unlikely the person at the top has the full overview and can actually tell you from experience, because the world's changing. As you destructure the organization, which is what you're doing, making teams, making project teams, collaborating, working with partnerships outside your own organizations, as you do that, you need more information. Why? Because previously the information happily went up and down the line structure. And I mean information, I don't mean data. I did a conference like this once, and I went on stage and I said, I shouldn't be here, I'm a fraud, because I don't know what information is. There was silence in the room. I said, do you know what information is? And there was silence. I said, 42 is it information? Put your hand up. Some hands went up. I said, okay, what's missing? Somebody said, 42 what? I said, 42 years, is that information? Hands which were up now went down. I've proved they don't know either. You with me? So I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why aren't all the hands up? I said, somebody said, what's 42 years old? Ah, good. So, it's a question plus the data gives you the answer to as information. Yeah, question plus data. So how old are you, Eddie? Answer, 42 years old, information. But I'm not 42 years old, so although it's information, it's useless and wrong information. So when you start to move to this world, it becomes crucial. Things like data clarity, cleanliness, understanding where it's come from, understanding who's generated, who owns it. Understanding the questions come from the process. When we saw that lady working through her day, she had questions in her head. That's the experience which you're trying to design to. What are they thinking so I can answer them, so they can feel engaged? You got it? Good. Okay. There's some other bad stuff. The thing is, because we don't understand this information thing, I'll find a picture. I've got a picture of a chap somewhere. Let's see if I can find the picture. It's quite an interesting looking chap. Let's see where is he? Where could he be? Yeah. I told you, that's why I'm not a hypnotist. I keep telling you this, you don't believe me. I think he's this one. Yeah. What do you think? See, he's obese. He's digitally obese. And the good thing about being digitally obese is nobody knows. The reason he's digitally obese is because he has been doing things like snacking on bits of data all the way through the day. Pointless bits of data, filling his head up. Have you seen other people doing this stuff? Okay? And in fact, they're so addicted to this continuous snacking that they snack while they're snacking. In many of the views people have for the future of work, the aim is to provide their employees with more information. But what they do is they look at AI as a way of providing more data. We have a challenge which is really important, which is machines are less flexible than we are. When you go to a rubbish website, you work out how to use it. The website doesn't work out how to use you. When you use a rubbish app, you figure it out. It doesn't figure you out. Let me let you in on the first bit of the dystopia. Unless you put the people first, you will create hell for them. It is inevitable because the machines will drive it. And we know so much about human beings now that you will find yourselves nudging, providing the right information. and basically creating people who are automatons. The other thing we do is, if we can't move them fast enough, then we decide to replace them with technology. Well, I'll come to that in a second. I'm going to stop at that point, because that's the low point of my talk. It's the bit about, ooh, it's grim. I'm going to give you just 20 seconds. Talk to the people either side of you. Just say, what did he say? Yeah, I agree. No, he's an idiot. I don't mind, okay? And we'll regroup in 20 seconds. If there are any questions, I'll take them and we'll carry on. Is that a good plan? I know, so the good-looking people behind you, don't miss them out. Go, please, 20 seconds to yourselves. It's about 2 seconds left. Okay, should we go? Are there any questions or comments? Any ahas, any questions, any comments? Does it make sense? So if I've done a good job by now, you can start to understand some of the challenges we face in our thinking and following each other, the fact we're trying to work, we're trying to invest, but are we investing in the right things? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to flip to humans now and just try and pick that piece up. Is that okay? Yes? Yeah. Okay, let's do humans. So humans are fascinating because we've broken the pattern for humans. You know, one of the things we've done with this world speeding up is there's a couple of people who wrote a book called Generations, Stowe and House, I think it is. Read it, it's really interesting. But what they do is they talk about, if this is time on this axis here, they talk about different generations, i.e. people with a similar mindset, way of working, belief, world belief. And they try and explain that, you know, what happens is, as people enter the workplace, you get more and more people with similar ideas. So like after the First World War, they all came out thinking, we must have more fun, or something like that. And then finally they die off. Can you imagine that? Okay? So there were obviously some generations before that, and then there were some other generations before that, after that, and then there's some other generations. But at the moment, we now have 5 generations in the workplace. We have people who are over 45, the baby boomers, were born before 1945, the baby boomers, the millennials, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, okay? Do you understand what's happened? We've basically, in this bit here, shrunk the curves. Now they're all overlapping. The value sets of each of these are different. The baby boomers have my generation, we have a certain way of thinking about doing things. I'll give you an example. I went to see a client the other day and they were really digitized their workplace. So when I arrived, I got through the front door, they gave me a ticket, I swiped it, I got into the lift knew where I was going, amazing. Oldies, okay, amazing, the lift knew where I was going, took me to the right floor, amazing. So I came out of the floor and there was like a reception desk with nice looking people who were smiling at me. So of course I walk boldly up because I'm old and I don't understand these things. I think reception desk, they receive you, am I right? So I go up to it and they say, who are you? And so I tell them my name. And so they take out a lanyard and give it to me. And I say, thank you. And they say, oh, you have to check yourself in. And I go, but I've just told you who I am and who I'm coming to see. They say, no, you have to use the iPads behind you. In fact, you should have done it on the app before you got here. So I turn around, they're all sitting there, they're not doing anything. And now I have to go back. Amazing. And sit on an iPad. So I put my things in, what's your name, what's this, and put all this information. And then it gets to the point where it says, person you're visiting. And I put Mike, and 2 names come up. And that's it, I've got 2 of the same name for the person I'm visiting. How do I know which one it is? Now, you see, if I'd used the app, I'd have gone to him and said, I'm coming in. Have you got my message? Blah, blah, blah. And we'd have done 20 different communications, text you. Yes, I'm coming. I've seen you. Blah. So I didn't know. So I pressed the top one, and I went and sat down, nervous, okay? Now, if I was a youngster, millennial, I'd have done it all cool before I got here, checked in, etc. Okay, nervous. 5 minutes passed. He didn't turn up. So guess what I did? I got up and pressed the second one. And then about 2 minutes later, the guy I was seeing turned up. And I didn't tell him I pressed both. And we went off to the meeting. So somewhere in that building, someone's still wandering around looking for their guest who isn't there. I'm joking, but I'm serious. When you build any application, bad news for you, you have different market segments. We keep building workplace solutions which aim at youngsters or oldsters with tiny text, for example. You with me? You need to build across 5 generations for them all to engage. And then we complain. There wasn't much engagement from the millennials because they said it wasn't fun. There wasn't much engagement from the old boomers because they said it was too difficult. Of course they did, because you built a product which doesn't suit any of them. What were you expecting? Do you understand? So that's our first headache. The second headache we have, we've all gone global. And now it gets really funny, because at this point the tech just falls over. So once you go global, you discover things like you have to be more diverse. Have you come across this concept? Okay, so you have to be more diverse. You have to be more inclusive. So you get this D&I stuff. So we can get the most out of our talent. Wonderful idea. Now, if I had 3 friends, and we've been friends since we were kids, and we decide to do something, how productive are we? We just get on and do it. We can literally read each other's minds. Are you with me? So we're all the same, and we can literally 100% productive. And one of them says, I'm going to bring my other half along for our conversation. What's going to happen to our productivity immediately? Then the other one says, I'm bringing my other half as well. But she doesn't get on with your other half. What's going to happen? Goes down, down, down. Until what happens? People start actually engaging, interacting, and then they work out how they're going to work together, and you get this massive hockey stick. This understanding how people will connect and collaborate and work is, at this moment, a human inventive process. It's not an AI process. We don't even know how it works. It doesn't always work. And human beings, the reason the machines are kicking our butts is because we don't know how to network our brains. Computers have no egos. When you connect them together, they don't complain. Human beings, nightmare. To get anything useful out of them, I'll show you. I'm going to teach you guys to count to 3, okay? I'm going to teach you to count to 3. And I'm going to demonstrate that despite having 900 people with IQs of 200, which comes out as something like 18,000 IQ, you can't count to 3. I'm going to demonstrate that just in 1 minute. First, you need to be in a pair with somebody. So pair. Make sure you're in a pair. If you're not in a pair, this will just go straight over your head and piss you off. Make sure you're in a pair. Pair. Maybe behind you. Make sure you're in a pair. Point the person. You and me. Make sure you're in a pair. Everyone in a pair? If you're not in a pair, stand up and go somewhere else and be in a pair. Is everyone in a pair? Anyone not in a pair? Great. Now I need a good-looking assistant. You, sir. Okay, great. I'm going to teach you to count to 3. In a second, you will stand up and you will do exactly this. When I shout that we move on, please stop talking, because then we can go faster. Okay, so listen. So we're going to count to 3, and we're going to do it collaboratively. You read about collaboration? Very important. You see, we all think collaboration is about sharing documents. It's not. It's about thinking together. Let me show you what happens. So I'm going to say 1. You're going to say 2. Then I'm going to say 3. Then you're going to say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And we'll go between the two of us. You go 1, 2, 3, 1. So please stand up. Have a go. See whether you can do it or not. As fast as you can. Go. As fast as you can. 1.
2,
3,
1,
2,
3.
Not bad. Do it with him.
Oh, hang on.
Pairs, not trios. 2 people. 1, 2, 3, 1. As fast as you can. Faster. Go. Stop. That's pathetic. That's awful. Stay. Keep standing. I'm going to make it easier for you. Keep standing. Can you replace the number 1, because it's too much for you to remember, with a click? So go click 2, 3, click as fast as you can. Go as fast as you can. Click 2, 3, click 2, 3. No, with the fingers. With your fingers. Click with your fingers. Stop! Pathetic! Wait! Look, I make it easier for you. Can you, everyone here, remember the number 3? Everyone remembers the number 3, okay? So go click, then the other person clap their hand, then 3. Click, clap 3, as fast as you can. Go. I did say pairs. It's not working. Stop it! Forget the numbers! Numbers are too advanced for you! Forget all the numbers. What we do now is high speed. click, other person clap, then you jump, stop your thigh. Okay, fast as you can, go, go, go. As fast as you can, go, 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 go. Clap, 3, click. Stop, pathetic. Wait, last round, I promise. Last round. Can you just go back and try 1, 2, 3 and see what's changed? Just try 1, 2, 3 again now and see what's changed. Just try 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, you learned to count to 3. Please applaud yourselves. Wonderful stuff. You're geniuses. Please sit and applause for my wonderful assistant. Yeah, it seemed like a bit of foolishness, but let me just try and explain to you what happened. You could not even network as a pair. You could not network your brains as a pair. When I say count to 3, I know how to do that. It's me, the ego. Big. Once you're embodied, your ego kicks in. You're a human being. Oh, Eddie's an idiot. Of course I can count to 3. Then I say, we're going to do it collaboratively. You don't twig what I'm about to do to you. Then I bring someone else in, a stranger. And I say, count to 3. And so you did this thing where you said, oh, he wants us to count 3. Do you want to go first? No, you go first. No, you go first. It's counting to 3, okay? And so they go, okay, I'll go first. And so you say 1, and you're so proud that you got 1 right. You're not listening to the other person. There's no mental connection. They're pissed off. They wanted to go first. They splatter 2. They're not listening to you, and then you just splatter. We can't do it. 1, 2, 3, my goodness. Then I made you do something. I made you click, then I got you clapping, then I got you laughing. And you forgot about your ego. When you forgot about your ego, you could network your minds. I took you back to 1, 2, 3, you could do it. Am I right? Yes. The machines can do this. We can't do it because of our egos. So what we need to use technology for is to put people in situations where they're less embodied. That's why I use VR. Because in VR, people forget the boss is also there because they're not really there. You with me? So technologies which enable the workforce to be disembodied allow them to collaborate better. Technologies which say, these are the tasks for A, B, C, D, you, and remind you are embodied, do not drive collaboration. They drive sharing of documents. Do you understand? Okay. So I've now given you 2 bits of dystopia. The technology is going to wipe us out, and as human beings, we're going to wipe ourselves out. But there's a way out of this. But before I get there, you have your standard 20 seconds, and then we'll move forward. Over to you. Please talk, chat, think. Network your minds. Listen. Okay, questions, comments, please. Questions, comments, please. Thoughts, ahas. Someone at the back, just shout. Any questions? Are we going the right way still? Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I'd like to talk about how we get out of it. And I'll sort of give you the punchlines first. The punchlines are that basically what we do is we have to break our pattern. I'm going to show you how you do that, because part of the pattern is also in the words we use, as well as how we engage with each other and the assumptions we make. I'm just going to build those and then give you a couple of secrets and tell you some stories about what my clients are doing, and then we wrap. Okay? So, where I want to start is, I want to start with this one here. And it's It's a big... Oh, by the way, you know my presentation's on the cloud, don't you? Had you worked that out? Yeah, you know, like cloud computing, which we're all supposed to be using, and everyone uses PowerPoint on the computer around the back? I'm doing it properly. I'm on the cloud. And you know I'm in a VR classroom. Did you work that out as well? You worked that out? No, you thought it was just strange PowerPoint. Okay, great. So that's why I said fetching, because although it's the cloud, it's a slow cloud. That's why I was saying fetching, okay? So this is an inspiration I had from a chap called George Orwell. And George Orwell is quite famous because he talked about miners. And if you think about miners, one of the crucial things is that they used to have to commute 2 or 3 miles on their knees and hands to go to work. Yeah, that's what they did. And so they would commute and go to work. And then when they arrived at the workplace, what they would find is, they would find, and this is just a description, I'm not going to read it all, but basically he said, on Sundays it's wonderful, but the rest of the time you think you're in hell. These people go all this way to stand in front of a shiny black wall, which they call the coal face. We still use those words today, don't we? We think about the workplace as the coal face. Before they were in the coal mines, they were here. They were out in the fields. This was their coal face. But these are physical jobs. When you have a physical job, guess what? You have to move the human being to the job. Got that? Okay. So we stopped doing physical jobs. We stopped doing the coal mining. And we said, well, what else can we do? And people started working in factories. And the factories had the raw materials, physical stuff, physical people in rows, nice and neat, and all of that going through. And then they stopped doing the factory stuff. So they went into, okay, what can we do next? They said, let's do office stuff. So office, oh, come on, be good to me. I'm a nice person. So office stuff said, that's what comes when you show off. You probably realized I was using a wearable, but I'm not very good at it. So I'll just, I'll click one more thing and then I'll stop showing off, okay? Where's the offices? Okay, I'm living in the future. It's really rubbish. And the raw materials are gone, but you can still see them sitting in rows quite happily. And then they went into the next one, which is, oh, we got computers, we got phones, great, but they're not connected to the internet. So they thought, what can we do with these people? So they said, let's put them back in rows, but we'll move them 45 degrees. And we'll call it a cubicle instead. And then they went, oh, let's connect to the internet. And then everything changed. They were out there playing guitars, etc. And everyone was really happy, except, of course, this chap sitting over here in this little box who missed his old cubicle. Okay? And then we went from there. We said, okay, well, what's the workplace now? And we said, oh, it's mobile. It's all mobile. So he went into the mobile phase. And then from the mobile phase, we moved into where we are sort of now-ish, which is working anywhere, which means not working at all, because we choose really silly places to work. And I was joking about the small screens. So we're in Starbucks with music blaring, and we're going, I'm doing a really important spreadsheet. It's taking you 4 times as long, but you're having a great time. You with me? So that's what we're messing around with. And then finally, we went, okay, so what will the future look like? And we started to realize that we needed people to have things like mindfulness and space to work in. Have you got this stuff in your organization? Basically, the whole process has failed. So now you're saying to them, actually, just sit and think a little bit. Something wrong there. Okay? And now I saw this one. This one's a trend you've probably seen. It's called digital twins, where basically you get your people to travel to an office, then you build the same office in VR, give everyone a headset, and then input the data and the streams of flows of information to them in the familiar environment. Is that nuts, or is it just me? The moment the work went from physical stuff to knowledge, and we could digitize it, the work could be anywhere. The growth of the gig economy is because the work can be anywhere. Lots of the millennials don't want to be in offices. They want to be anywhere other than that. You with me? So when we think workplace, it's not a place anymore. It's just a mindset. It's a collaboration with other people. So the question is, how do we make these people feel like they're together? How do we make them laugh? Like when we did the 1, 2, 3, did you hear that laugh? It was so wonderful and human. When you build and select your apps to engage your employees and build the user experience, do you make them laugh? If the answer is no, you're not really engaging them, are you? If all you're doing is taking away the pain points. So they go, I was in real pain, now I'm in less pain. That's not useful to anyone. Okay. So, this is the secret. It's very simple. The secret is simply that a caterpillar and a butterfly are not the same thing. A butterfly is not a caterpillar with wings stuck on it. This is the only thing you need to understand to really shift your mindset. What are caterpillars good at? Eating leaves, walking many legs, getting really fat. What are butterflies good at? Looking beautiful and graceful with long proboscis and drinking nectar. Yes, they're not the same. If your digital workplace strategy simply makes your caterpillars fatter, in other words, they're doing the same stuff, but with a bit of AI helping them, in roughly the same way, with them not being able to count to 3, you're just breeding fatter caterpillars. I'm going to stop, because now it comes to you, thinking about your strategy. Where are you aiming? Are you aiming for a butterfly, or are you just making your caterpillars fatter? I'll run around the room, get some points, then I'm going to wrap up and show you a little bit of a couple of examples. Okay? Think on your own. Great, I'll just go around. Are you thinking? Are you all thinking? Where are you? Where's your strategy? Is it just more of the same? Are you doing something different? Okay, you're thinking. Okay, so in a moment I'm going to ask you a show of hands. Okay, so if you're embarrassed, don't put your hand up. Okay, or actually maybe we should do it the other way. If you're embarrassed, put your hand up. Okay, so how many of you, having thought about what I've said so far and considered where your strategy is at the moment, have concluded that by continuing your process of thinking about your digital workplace, all you're doing is making the coal miner's life a little bit better because you're putting him on a trolley, getting a fatter caterpillar? And how many of you are thinking, actually, we're creating a way for people to be human, to network their minds? Okay, so which one should we do? We show of hands? So if you're embarrassed, don't put your hand up. How many people are going for fatter caterpillar? Fatter caterpillar. Some hands. Okay, great. That's wonderful. Thank you. Applause to them for being so honest. Okay, how many of you are really, really, really working on the butterfly? We're acting as if we are a startup, a total disruptor. We're throwing everything away about how we work, how we engage with our employees. Hands up. Great. Do you want to just shout out roughly what you're doing? Just shout it out quickly. Are you happy to shout out? No. Yeah, go.
Just put different concepts on what they do.
Yeah, you put people on different concepts on what they do. Yeah, go on.
And also, make sure that even though they work for a 20,000 company,
Yeah.
they work like a 20,000-man startup.
Got it. And you actually do that. You're not just saying it like marketing. Yeah. High five. Okay, so my comment earlier, if you're doing stuff which isn't doing the breakthrough, look at it, work out where you're spending your money, and then shift it. So some examples just quickly. I put this very, very short video together because I thought it would help you understand my life, just as an example, okay? So for me, for example, this is me just explaining why I don't have to worry about my diary and stuff like that. Every single morning at 10:30.
This is me. I'm about to join Coffee on Cube. Every day, whoever's available joins Cube, and we have a session at 10:30 in the Western Hemisphere where we catch up and share everything. Look at what my world looks like. So this is my 3 screens. So over here you can see the browser. Then I've got my Twitter stuff, and then here I've got the Cube lobby. I stay in one of the organization's pentacles so I can pick up all the messages, because each organization, obviously with all our clients, is completely secure and cut off from each other. So you can't easily jump from one to another. Over here, of course, I have my emails, and here you can see the guys have already started the session. They're just capturing. There are 2 bits. We look at learning successes, and then we look at what's up next. And the lasers are other people's lasers. I'll just move this around. So this one here is mine, the sort of aqua one, and I'm just moving the sticky note up and down. But we're in the same room, as you can imagine. This is our team.
That's
room.
my management team.
So there's a whiteboard in here, so we can work together. Each person has their own spaces, so that you can leave them messages on their desk wherever they are in the world, and so on and so forth. So that's me. There's a little team photograph here. Who put a little. I've turned the sound off so that I don't disturb them. But there's a little team photograph which you can just about see the corner there. Then this is what we call the rapid board, and this is where the big projects are kept on this particular board. So we have September, and you can see what's going on there.
So that's my life. And for example, one of my clients, Fujitsu, we built roughly the same sort of thing for them to start to work globally with their clients. They do a lot of digital transformation work, and rather than trying to globally digitally transform, they use different techniques for bringing people in. I'm sorry the sound wasn't on because I didn't want to disturb my team while they were working, but you'd have heard them talking and laughing. And it's that sort of thing. I mean, there are loads of things. There's Microsoft's Learn Bright. There are lots of things out there, Protosphere, which allow you to have a human conversation with human beings. And then we can use the job role-based apps within them so that we have the human connection and we have the apps so that it's not just a case of spending all your time just pecking at a keyboard and occasionally carrying your laptop to a meeting. That is not the future. The future is the laptop is there. That's why we built cloud. That's why we synchronize things. When you turn up in the meeting room, you hit the button, all the information's there. You don't have to carry the device like the olden days. You know, when you're talking to people, you should be able to encapsulate them, feel immersed, feel connected to them as human beings. That's what we're trying to do. The future of humans and technology is very simple. If you guys build first your strategy around people, you think about it in terms of butterflies. What is it we're going to do differently from what we're doing now? How are we going to make that come together? Then you select your apps, and that's where you put your investment to get the productivity, to get the growth, to get the happy customers, the happy employees. That's where the future goes for us, and that's why I need your help. Because everyone else out there, and I told you, is just doing the same rubbish everyone else is, and they will end up in that dystopian future I described. Do I get your help or not? So sort of half help. Okay. So in that case, I'm going to stop at that point. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I hope you've learned something useful and can apply it. I always make exactly the same mistake, which is I always forget to tell you where the takeaways are. So I'm just going to do that now. And if you want to take a snapshot, that's probably a good place to start, which is here. I've got 2 links. So if you want to sort of share some of this thinking with other people, those are the 2 links. One of them's got white paper explaining about technologies and about people and the generations and how that works. And the other one is a little grid, which basically asks you, what did you do in the past? How are you going to be successful in the future? And it's a good team activity to do with other people. Guys, I'm done. It's gone red on me. And I'm going to run away before Mike comes and pulls me off the stage. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you. Bye.